The other point that the IMF managing director made was about rising concerns over protectionism,
Yes.
driven in part by something that you talked about already, which is geopolitical tensions. So what are the risks for global growth if the barriers start going up again?
Well, the risks are of a downfall, even deeper of economic growth, particularly as we are already watching, for instance, a global war of subsidies.
Yes.
We are already watching the signals of the will by many policymakers to disregard the gains from trade and so on, and to establishing barriers and so on. And these impacts are cumulatively pointing down to a lower economic growth, because it's going to make more difficult to have low inflation. Because, of course, if you replace imports with less efficient domestic production of things, this goes to rising costs and makes the presence of sudden shocks, price shocks, more often. So while we lived in an area after the global financial crisis in which we had insufficiency of aggregate demand when the tendency was exactly deflationary and so on, with central banks pumping up a resource through the quantitative easing. Now we have had in the last few years this combination of shocks coming from the supply side, including, of course, I'm talking about the pandemic, the problems with logistics, I'm talking about the wars, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. I'm talking about now the fears about the conflict between Hamas and Israel spilling over into something broader with respect to oil and so on. But the fact of the matter that we also have seen supply shocks coming from these policies. The bottom line is that the appearance of sudden inflationary shocks is more likely in this new world that we are living through.